Well, that was unexpected. Seriously, I was not expecting to do a video right now, this soon. I'm not even in my house, I'm in my friend's house. But you know, Lily Orchard put out a new video, and you know what that means. Time to milk that cow. And since I'm already at my friend's that has so many tech stuff and has a good camera and a good microphone, why don't I just go ahead and talk about every single anime video that Lily has done? I think that by now she has made 3 anime videos. First one being Drama Queen. So yeah, this video is not bad. I understand why she did it. I didn't watch Little Witch Academia, so I can't comment on what she says, but I do understand the frustration of you're watching a cartoon and it changes. What you liked is not there anymore because they're trying to please someone that isn't you. I understand the frustration, and she is right to be frustrated that something just changed midway. I am, however, not particularly fond of this video because of some things that she says. She says that anime studios do not have a lot of money and they can't really animate fight scenes, and I do agree that to an extent, because she's right. Anime studios don't have a lot of money, can animate a lot of action scenes. A lot of anime YouTubers have talked about that instead of making a bajillion shows and all of them having terrible animation, you should just focus on making one good anime. But the thing is that people actually like Trigger and like their action scenes, and she's trying to argue against that. She's like, well, you're wrong for liking Trigger animated action scenes. You can't just argue someone away from liking something. One thing is making a video about My Little Pony and dispelling notions of communism that are wrong, but another thing is trying to say that someone is wrong because of her taste in media. And assuming that Lily is right, that Trigger is bad at animating action scenes, who cares? They like that anyway. And she just shows some of the action scenes in My Little Witch Academia, including a guy like doing a headstand and spinning to kick the other guy. That actually sounds really amazing. That actually makes me want to watch Little Witch Academia. But you know, whatever. It's a video about her opinions. I do understand why she thinks the way that she does, so I'm just going to let it slide. We have another one that is pretty interesting. I am, of course, talking about her video on Spy X Family, so why don't we just watch it? I think it's better if I just comment as I go along. Let me see.
Hi everyone, please support our videos on Patreon. The link's at the end of the video and in the down there part. Thank you, you're lovely.
I liked it, so untype that comment right now.
Well, that was a botched joke right there. It would be funny if she started the video and she said, well, I liked it, so untype that comment. But then there was the Patreon, then there was the joke, and then yeah, that didn't end very well.
I have a bad relationship with anime. Actually, no.
Holy shit, her puppet is fucking awful. Yeah, I know that it appeared on the other video that I made when she put the Yun-Sim background for some reason, but oh my god, I thought it would fix it. It just looks so bad. Like, look at this little intro that she does. She starts running and it looks like a fucking clumsy anime girl. Be like, oh, this just looks awful, and it does not match her tone of voice at all. She looks, as I said, she looks like some kind of clumsy anime girl, but her voice is so deep and so cynical that it doesn't match. She looks like she would have said something like, oh, I had some bad relationships with anime or something. But no, she just stumbles in and her voice is just completely monotonous and just doesn't change at all. I mean, when she used to slide her avatar into the video, you could ignore this for diegetic reason. Yeah, it was just a way to put her puppet into the frame, but now she actually runs and just, oh my god, it looks terrible. Aside from that, why does her puppet have no eyebrows? Why is your drawing that's supposed to represent your emotions in a cartoony way not have eyebrows? What is this in her hair? I thought they would fix it. I actually didn't mention that in the other video because I thought it would get fixed, but it's bad. Oh my god, what a fucking downgrade. Let's start talking about the video. We didn't even start yet. What am I even saying?
Actually, its most common tropes bother me, its treatment of women bother me, and the over-reliance on perv pandering bothers me. But more than that, the subject matter bothers me. So yeah, I've never been under the impression that there isn't good anime, just that in a Venn diagram between anime that weebs like and anime that's actually good, there is no intersection. Weebs have the same attitudes about what makes...
I'm not saying that her tastes are wrong or anything like that. I'm just saying that feels like kind of a charged statement to put in your video. It's not even, oh, anime that I like and anime that other people like, or anime that most other weebs seem to like. It's like anime that is good. I'm like, okay, can see that you're already preparing for the flame war in the comments.
So when someone says they don't like anime, their first thought is to shove those things into people's faces, as if they just assume people's problems with anime is that it isn't adult enough.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that. That is a problem that many anime fans have, that they don't know how to recommend anime. I consider myself to be absolutely terrible recommending anime, but that's because I tend to recommend stuff that I know people aren't going to like because it's very niche, but I have to recommend it because if I don't, then who will? Someone goes and says, I like watching Brazilian soap operas, and I say, well, but have you heard of gambling anime? Have you ever watched Kaiji? Please go watch Kaiji. Nobody has it. I can't talk about this with anyone.
I could never be an anime fan because the only anime I've enjoyed are the ones that are completely unlike what anime is usually like.
Oh, wow. This is... the reason I wanted to talk about this video is because of the other video that I made on Lily, in which it's very obvious that she's hiding through so many layers of irony that it actually becomes revealing. I feel like she's aware that her job isn't very respected, that, you know, we as people do not respect streamers and YouTube videos. Here's the thing, Lily. Your job is making reviews of cartoons for children. It is what you do, it's what you're known for, you can't hide from it. And if you keep trying to put this, I go outside and I talk to people, if you keep putting that in your videos, it's just going to convince me that you're in some kind of denial. I don't understand why you would be in denial about that anyway. I really wish I were you. I do videos, I post them in the internet, and I do that for free. If I were getting paid to talk about the Riddler, Jesus, I would never shut the fuck up. And maybe there's the thing about the grass being greener in the other side. But even aside from that, if I were a reviewer, I think that my biggest strength would be that I don't go outside and talk to people. I'm not saying that it's bad and that you shouldn't keep your feet on the ground and don't say a bunch of stupid, crazy bullshit that nobody understands. I'm not saying that you should do that. But the reason I watch reviewers on the internet is because I am a person with an actual job and I spend a big part of my day doing things that I don't want to do. And those precious few hours that I have, I want to make sure that I'm spending on something that's worth it. So I want my reviewers on YouTube to be like, hey, I do not work, I stay at home all day watching cartoons, watching movies, playing video games, so I can tell you to not waste your time on stupid bullshit and tell you the rare gems that you should be enjoying. So to summarize, not only I think that saying that you go outside and talk to people all the time is counterproductive because the more you have to state it, the less I believe it. But also, I do believe that it does not speak very well about your quality as a YouTuber reviewer. Especially when you're so insecure about not going outside and talk to people that you say stupid shit like this. Yeah, going outside and talking to people in Canada really informs me about what people like to watch in Japan. Do you see the problem here, right? I'm not going crazy. You see what's wrong with this.
Over the years, a few shows have been thrown across my desk by far savvier correspondents, only to come with the big oozing caveat that if I want to watch it, I'll have to focus on the bottom 2 inches of the screen with my brain consciously filtering out visuals, music, voice acting, and the very idea of looking away from the screen for more than half a second if I want to follow along with the story. And as someone who likes to multitask and actually enjoys the auditory experience of watching a show, no thanks. So my go-to response to
yeah,
any
sure,
show
that's
that
fair.
crosses my
I
social-
actually know why she put that in her video, because she was actually picking fights with some people on her Tumblr that were talking about the sub versus dub. I still think she was way too combative about it. She could just say, well, subs are not for me, instead of calling everyone that prefers subs as a weeb, but it's fine. It's fine. You can enjoy whatever you want, in whatever manner you want. I'm not going to hold it against her for that.
Spy Family got an English release.
Oh my god, she finally started talking about Spy Family. Jesus fucking Christ. It's been like almost 3 minutes. That's the first time she mentioned this fucking anime.
If you're the kind of socially maladjusted freak of nature who hates all little kid characters on principle, then you shouldn't watch this show, because she's a pretty big part of it. And already there are weebs saying that they wish she would be killed off and calling her antics toxic and manipulative, even though she's 4. Fucking weebs. Shit, to
I'm
get away
just
from
going
talking
to say something here. I don't think that child hatred is a weeb thing. I think that it's more of this anime has such a wide audience that it's going to appeal to some people that are going to say, well, I don't like this kid. But I don't think that child hatred is something associated with weebs. Most people do like the lollies, like the little child characters. Just some weird part of the internet that goes, oh, let's kill the Ice Age baby. I hate the Ice Age baby. I think that it's very likely that the people that are hating the kid are not weebs, because I see that more often in film circles. Child characters are usually portrayed by the producer's son, and they don't know how to act, and people don't know how to write it.
Yes! Hey. Kid actors! Kid actors are always good in movies. I hope this one is just exceptional.
Daddy, you know I can't read in the dark. What do you think I am, a flashlight?
Yes! She's an excellent actress! She's fucking good!
I don't think this is a very common opinion that I have seen in anime.
And it's one of the best cartoons to come from the East I've ever seen. Like, seriously, it's even better than Hamtaro, and that's a high bar to cross.
I guess this is the end of the review. I guess there's nothing else to be said about this cartoon. Why is there 1.5 minutes left? What are you going to talk about, Lily?
The only reason I can think you wouldn't want to check it out would be because it's an anime, and I'm not going to judge anyone for that. The industry spent much of the 2010s convincing weebs to hyperconsume through some exceedingly disgusting content. The submedium's reputation has been in the toilet for quite some time, with fans propping up only the superficially dark, grim, and dramatic, like a teenager showing you their edgy OC.
You know, Lily is so intoxicating to talk about is because she is often so wildly wrong and yet so absolutely confident in her delivery. She just decided to accuse the anime medium in the middle of a second boom brought in by streaming and the pandemic of having their reputation in the toilet, and she didn't even flinch as she decided to put this in the same video in which she complains about receiving numerous recommendations from everywhere across the internet. That's the beauty of Lily videos. Even if you are not aware that there are many people that decided to start watching anime because of streaming, because it's literally as easy to watch Devilman Crybaby as it is watching Breaking Bad on Netflix. Even if you don't know that the West is more open than ever to international productions, not only because of the boom of YouTuber reviewers that are able to talk about foreign material in a funny way to its audience, but also because, as I said, streaming is bringing in more and more international content to the point that we had the first Academy Award Best Motion Picture winner that wasn't made in English. But even if you don't know any of that, even if you don't know that there are people, normies out there, that are actually watching Beastars, that is a fucking furry vor anime, if you don't know any of that, how can you state in the same video that you're receiving thousands of recommendations, that everyone's trying to get you to watch anime, and say that nobody watches anime anymore, that the reputation is in the garbage, and it's a dying medium hostile to newcomers? That's the best thing about the videos. I didn't even need to sit down here and tell you that her opinions are wrong. You can just deduce that by her video. Also, I'm just gonna say something. I think that a lot of people are probably upset about Lily saying that, oh, anime has a bunch of disgusting bullshit that Westerners don't like. And I'm gonna say that I think that she does have a point there. If you consume anime, you know that this is true. There's so many panty shots, so many weird shit. It is a thing that happens. I'm not saying that you shouldn't watch anime because of that. I'm not saying that all anime is like that, but come on, guys, come on. Have you ever watched One Piece, which is one of the most popular, the most sold, and the women look absolutely disgusting? I'm not saying that this only happens towards anime. For example, comic books also have the problem. But people also talk about comic books this way, that women are drawn absolutely ridiculous to the point that it actually becomes unfunny and unpleasant. So I don't have a lot of problems with that. Anime does have that problem, and it sucks, and I wish it didn't. I'm not going to be angry at Lily for pointing this out. So this video is done, and now we're going to get to the real meat and bones of this video, which is her recent video on all the anime that she has made. Let me just put this up. I'm actually going to put my fringe in the back of my forehead because I just want you to be able to see my reactions. I have watched this video before, but I'm pretty sure that there are some things just that they're so wrong that I'm going to make some pretty funny faces.
I think the way weebs treat Japanese honorifics is another example of this. They think it's really important to understand the relationships to other characters, but fail to grapple with the concept that every language has these. English has this too. This is why you always had to call your teachers Mr. and Mrs. last name as a kid, or why referring to someone with only their last name is decidedly impersonal.
I actually really like the fact that she mentioned this, because in Brazil we don't do that. We don't call our teachers Miss and Mr. We don't do that. We call them by their name, because Brazil has a very informal culture. I'm not going to argue on whether or not Spy Family was changed because of this change in sub versus dub, because I haven't watched it, and I'm going to put good faith in Lily's words. I'm going to assume that she's saying the truth. But honorifics do not work the same way in every language, as I just said. And I'm not saying that it does have the same difference all the time, but it does change a little bit. It does change the way the characters talk to each other, because Japanese dialogue is written to reflect that. I mean, if you have read Danganronpa on the Something Awful forums, the reason why they put a gigantic explanation on why a character calls each other that way, it's because it makes a difference. It's because it is a part of the character that the author wanted to put in the dialogue, and it's a sign of respect for you to put a little annotation and to not just discard that as something that you can just throw away. Regarding subs versus dubs, my opinion is that you do whatever you want. I don't really care. But I just wanted to say something here. My favorite expression in English is that it takes two to tango. And I like it because it applies a lot to a lot of things that you may find in real life or in the internet, like here. Lily is constantly saying that the sub versus dubs debate is absolutely useless, doesn't matter, and now I say, Lily, it takes two to tango. If people are being this upset about dubs and you really don't care, then why are you engaging them? Pokemon dub is there, it didn't go away, it's still there, you can watch it. The debate has not changed that. The debate has not changed the fact that many people watch dubs, and the dubs will keep being made. It has not changed that, so why do you care? The fact that she is receiving comments about that should be completely irrelevant, because you can just ignore your comments. You do have the power of not spending several minutes of your video complaining about that. What this changes in this video for me is that I am now considering this video bait. I don't think she's trying to engage with her audience in a good-natured way, in good faith. I think that she's definitely trying to piss people off. So I will try not to take the bait in most cases, even though I can't really promise that. But I will say that it will definitely make me take her opinions less seriously, because she's like, oh, I don't care about that. So if you don't care, then you're just trying to get me mad. This isn't a real thing of real opinions that I should pay attention to.
It's like those articles about Japanese words that have no English translation, whereupon they proceed to either translate it themselves or make it painfully obvious what the actual translation is.
That is not existential dread. I don't speak Japanese. I can't really comment on that. But what I see on the description is that there is a sense of beauty in that it's not just dread. There is something beautiful, even though it is kind of in a bitter way. This does not directly translate to existential dread, because as far as I know, existential dread does not have anything beautiful in it that is implicit in the term. You might find beauty in existential dread, but that is not inherent to existential dread. There's not contained in the expression. When I look at this description and this translation, I do not feel only dread. It's just, yeah, it might be a little bit scary, but it's kind of beautiful that the universe has made you. You know, that's not just existential dread.
But you can't tell weebs that a language was designed to convey thoughts and feelings that are universal. That would break their fantasy that Japan is a real-world Narnia.
Not every single thought in every single culture is universal. See, this is why people hate gringos. If you're American or Canadian or from North America in general, and be like, man, why do people hate us? This is why. She's just making a video and saying, yeah, everyone uses honorifics in the same way, and no, they don't. That's That's why people hate you.
My refusal to watch cartoons subtitled isn't born out of anything but quality control, because when weebs in my audience run up with their latest softcore porn cartoon about girls being raped by quote-unquote relatable heroes, it's just a lot easier to say, ooh, sorry, it doesn't have a dub, so hands tied, than it is to just get right in their face and say,
I don't want your garbage.
Wait, did she lie about this? Did she lie in her video? She said that she doesn't like watching subs because it's very hard to focus on two things. Did she lie about that? What the hell? Hell, I'm not even upset that she lied. She can say whatever she wants. But why would you lie about that and immediately reveal the lie one video later? I don't get it. That's why I think this video is fake, because she's just casually admitting that she lied, even though it is completely counterproductive to her, and it does paint her as an untrustworthy creator. As a side note, is anyone else very concerned about the amount of panels of Pokemon House that are appearing in her videos? I wasn't going to mention that, but in the other video that she made, and she was like, "Whoa, I have such a great life," and she put a panel that had her wife, and her hybrid Pokemon baby. I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound very healthy. In fact, it does look like something that would appear in a horror video. But you know, I thought it was just something to illustrate her point, but now I see it again, and if this is happening more and more often, I'm just kind of concerned about it. Are you okay, Lily? Because if you're going to pretend that your Pokemon webcomic is like your real life, then it doesn't feel like your real life is going that great. Just saying.
It's still considered by many to be a cult classic and is considered mandatory viewing for sapphic anime fans, and I need to make this clear, there is no such thing as mandatory viewing. You watch what you want and don't feel pressured to swallow something just because everyone else thinks it's perfect and above reproach.
Yeah, you know, it is kind of fair for you to say that for your audience that is comprised of normal people that have normal jobs, but if you're being paid to have your opinions on the internet, then I do expect some kind of quality control that you actually watch stuff so you know what you're talking about. Is this because I bullied her because she used her Star Wars fanfiction to talk about morality? Because I do believe that it was very much justified. Nobody's telling you to watch all this crap, but nobody is telling you to make videos about this either. If you're going to make videos about anime, I do expect you to watch anime and for you to understand what the fuck you're talking about. So yeah, I do have an expectation of you actually watching the shit you're talking about. You're not a normal person, Lily. You're not a normie. You make videos for money. This is your job. Jesus fucking Christ.
And you've probably seen my... Like many shows before it and after it, Utena carries this idea about surviving from abuse and trauma as if it scars you in some irreparable way. And like Sylvana fanfiction, it romanticizes this idea. One of the main characters is an intense trauma survivor who is never able to break free of the stranglehold of romanticized trauma and is almost constantly confronted with their abuser at every turn, even taking her anger out on her partner a lot of the time.
She did say she didn't watch it! Oh my god! Let's keep watching. Let's see what she says about it.
Furthermore, while that abuse is portrayed negatively, it has the same problem as the Legend of Korra and basically every depiction of Sylvanas being murdered by Arthas, in that it's so gratuitous and grisly that it passes the point of being unsettling and starts to make me think that the writers are getting a little too into it. If you're looking as to why...
Jesus, this... Okay, does anyone actually care about this? Regardless of whether you like Utena or not. Objectively speaking, this is a work that is against abuse, that portrays abuse as bad. I'm going to go into spoilers here. The abuser leaves and she just fucks off and goes like, yeah, I'm not going to stay here anymore, I'm walking away. And this is objectively speaking, this is what happens in the anime. And if you say, oh, the creator might have jacked off to it, keyword here being might, you're not even certain, but if it was an absolute certainty, so what? Oh, I have this anime that talks about abuse as being a bad thing, that shows how the gender dichotomy of having a fragile person and the savior is bad, and just shows the character shedding this off and walking away from that and leaving abuse is good. How can you go and say, well, but someone in production jacked off to this, so I guess this is all irrelevant. Like, do you care? Do you care that much? This is that kind of American puritanism that's just completely alien to me. If you're uncomfortable by the portrayal of abuse, first of all, you should be. You should be uncomfortable by all the sex things happening that is getting abused. This is the intended reaction. Just because someone puts something in their work doesn't mean that they approve of it. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes you're supposed to feel disgust. But you know, Lily put in a video that she said that she watches cartoons.
I'm a leisure viewer at the end of the day. I watch cartoons to either A, enjoy myself, or B, cry. People give me crap all the time saying I need to consume more media aimed at adults, but putting aside the fact that consuming adult media doesn't necessarily make someone a better person, I'm just not into po-faced dramas or borderline pornography that makes up most adult media.
So that's the kind of level that we're dealing with here. Can you imagine watching Utena and watching all those messages about surviving abuse? And maybe that even connected with you, but oh, someone jerked off to it, so I guess it's bad now.
Sit back and go, hang on, this is terrible. Why am I trying to...
Oh my god, it's the fucking Star Wars fanfiction again. Holy shit, I can never escape this. I will never escape this. The Star Wars fanfiction is going to fucking haunt me and her videos the rest of my fucking life. Also, she still can't pick any other artistic example to talk about that isn't her fucking Star Wars fanfiction. She still doesn't have enough media literacy to talk about abuse in other situations. It's great. I'm doing fine. This is a great video.
It's a putting these things past them, usually making the trauma...
Oh my god, is that child slaver mom? Is that child slaver mom? Oh! Yeah, I just love showing healthy relationships between a lady and her mom who transported her girlfriend as a child to be a slave. Oh my god! Yeah, it's the one I talked about in my tropes video. Can't believe she made an appearance.
Perhaps I should add something to make the protagonist a bit more sympathetic, like contributing to slavery. Is that really in the script? Yeah, there it is. That can't be real. No one's dumb enough to write that into their story.
It's like meeting an old friend that I haven't seen in a while. Child slaver mom. Ugh. Before we start talking about Sakura Cat Captors, I just wanted to say something. Lily has said that she went through abuse and that's not how she reacted at it, but I'm just going to say that not everyone is you. Abuse sometimes makes it difficult for people to relate to other people and to accept that kind of care. And I was going to save this for a future video, but I might as well just say right now, I mean, my Lily videos are the only ones that broke 3,000 views, and most of mine are under 400. So I think that this is going to be seen by more people anyway, so I might as well just say it now. I think that the reason why there are so many discussions and arguments in the internet about representation, because there is actually two types of representation, that both are important, and people act as if there was only one and they were fighting against each other to get represented. One of the representations that you can have is the representation for outsiders and being like, well, this is how it should be. This is how things should happen. Because gay people can be good friends and good partners. Abuse victims can get healed. Transgender people can be happy. Those are representations of what should happen and what can happen. Just break down those stereotypes and say life doesn't have to be bad. This is what can happen. Good things can happen. And this is important. But there is a second type of representation that is like, the world isn't perfect. Things get damaged. People get broken. Relationships get destroyed. It's a part of life. And while it's not exactly okay, that doesn't mean that you're alone. So when we talk about Utena, you need to understand that it shows an abused victim not having a perfect relationship with other people. And sometimes it does happen. Sometimes you get so involved in the abuse that it does damage the way you relate to people. Especially because when Utena is happening, the person that is being abused is still going through the abuse. The abuser is still in the picture, and the partner actually gets swept under this as well. It happens, and it needs to show, it needs representation, because people that go through abuse and they go through this kind of hardships, they need to know that they're not alone. If all the representation of abuse that you see in media is all perfect and it's all beautiful, then the people that had messy experiences, they are going to feel lonely. They're going to feel like they're not measuring up and it's all their fault. This is why Fahrenheit 451 is my favorite book of all time, because it portrays art not as something that you see to feel healed and to make you feel happy, to make you forget about your life, because it can be like that and it can be good, but sometimes art doesn't have an answer for you. Sometimes it's just a pat in the back and be like, I've been through that too. Things happen to people like this, not necessarily because you're a bad person, because you're fucked up, or because you're wrong. Sometimes shit things happen, but you're not alone. There are people like this with you. This book is not meant to fix your life, but it does make you feel less alone and makes you feel comfortable enough to look at the pores of reality and not hide it under makeup, okay? I just wanted to say that. Let's move on. I'm going to put on the Sakura Card Captors thing, and I know that she's going to talk about the subs versus dub. I don't know anything about that. I watched Sakura Card Captors as a kid, but I don't remember most of it, so if you have opinions on that, or opinions on anything that I haven't mentioned, feel free to comment on what you think Lily got right or got wrong, because I can't talk about it.
A bullet. Like, weebs will rush up to me and go, they cut out Lee, crushing...
Oh my god, is she putting the zero punctuation dolls in her video? Okay, I'm not going to be up in her ass about using content for another YouTuber, because I do quote voting ideas at Lily constantly at this point. But remember the thing that I said about her puppet being really ugly? I think she agrees. The puppet did not appear in this video, like, at all. And now she's putting the zero punctuation dolls. In her previous videos, she used to have her puppet interact with other characters on screen. But now she's like, she could be using my puppet, but I'm just going to use my zero punctuation dolls instead. And I can't even say that it is wrong for doing so, because I will tell you, it's definitely an improvement.
I find it especially worth a look given that there's a growing mythology in LGBT cartoon fandom that certain creators pioneered LGBT rep and animation and were inspired by very specific shows from their youth. But the truth is that the fight for good rep goes back over 60 years and has been a collective effort by everyone, which is easy.
Okay, Princess Knight aside, I haven't watched it. I like Tezuka. Tezuka wrote my favorite manga of all time, and Astro Boy was actually pretty good. Didn't watch Princess Knight, I'm not going to comment on that. But what she said about representation, I just don't see what's wrong with it. Because, some creators pioneered representation, but that's true. You can say that there were a lot of lesbian weddings on Cartoon Network before Steven Universe appeared, and Lily has stated that she respects Steven Universe for the sacrifices that they had to make. And those people that did some sacrifices in order to bring more representation, they were inspired by Utena. There's nothing wrong with saying that. I don't understand what is wrong with that. You see, if you don't like Steven Universe for some things, I understand. I also don't. I actually, as I have said in a previous video, I do agree with most of the things that Lily has said on Steven Universe. But they did pioneer things, they did things no one has done before. You can't deny that. That's objectively true. They did that and they said that they were inspired by that. And just because Princess Knight came out in the 60s and had a non-binary protagonist, that does not erase the fight that others had to do. As Lily said in this video, you can't just say that there was one that pioneered everything and made. It was a bricklaying job in which people put in bricks. Each person put in a brick. You don't get to discredit other people for the bricks that they put in. Just because Princess Knight came in the 60s and did a thing. It was another brick in the wall.
Years and has been a collective effort by everyone, which is easy to forget in the era of Stan Twitter acting like specific creators are gods simply by virtue of their mere existence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. I don't understand. The ideas on Lily's video doesn't think. It doesn't think the idea. I don't understand how can she argue what she's saying with the arguments that she's doing. I don't understand this at all. Please explain in the comments how I'm being stupid.
Apparently the creator doesn't feel any affection toward this show or the comic at all, because he only wrote it to have something that would sell, because all of his more serious comics kept getting cancelled. And I think that is the best example so far of someone getting hit in the face with the cold, icy reality that the reason it's so hard to get serious, dramatic comics and cartoons greenlit is very simple. Nobody fucking wants that shit. It is a reality that hardcore cartoon fandom has had a hard time accepting for quite some time.
The organization who'd like to be next.
Okay. I'm going to say something. I'm going to say very seriously. I'm going to say with no hyperbole whatsoever. If you're a fan of Lily and watch this video and you agree with what she said and respect it and doesn't subscribe to her, I have absolutely no respect for you. And it's kind of scary that Lily Orchard did things like do writing advice threads on Twitter, because this is the most disrespectful thing I have ever heard anyone say about any artist. You hear someone that made a work that you like say, yeah, I did it because there were other things that I wanted to be doing, but I need the money so I made this. And your immediate response to it's like, yeah, you're stupid, you're a moron. You want to make art that is serious and reflects your feelings? Well, fuck you, you're an idiot. Like, how can you say that? If the guy insulted you, and he said, well, you're an idiot for not liking my serious work and consuming this garbage instead, then yeah, I can understand you feeling a bit heated, you hating the dude, and you're trying to dunk on him. But he's just expressing his disappointment that he had other things that he wanted to be doing, and he made your shitty anime. He made the thing that you want to watch. It's still getting views. It's probably going to get a second season. People like it. But no, she had to go and say, what, you were expressing frustration for being a creator and not being able to market the work that you want to make? Well, fuck you. Do this popular pandering stuff instead. You know, yeah, it's that thing that Funny Idea said. Lily wants to be a writer. She wants to make art, but she can't because she's a fundamentally incurious person who isn't much interested in how and what other people think or feel, and all of her ideas boil to, what if I was right and everyone else is wrong? That's how someone that makes a living of analyzing art, analyzing things that people put their hearts and passion into, can say stuff like this, can see an artist being upset that their work that they wanted to make, the more emotionally resonant stuff, didn't sell, and is still making the work that she likes, and she just dunks on the guy. Jesus. And honestly, if you are a creator and you're looking for advice, writing advice on Lily, jump ship. She doesn't care about you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably not going to make a popular piece of art because most people don't. You are probably going to make art that resonates to you and gets a few views, a few likes. I would still be pretty fucking upset if I was a Lily fan and she said, well, you should just do pandering stuff instead of trying to do stuff that you want to share with your audience and to the world that you feel more creatively stimulated by. This just fucking sucks, man. Jesus Christ.
You know, kind of like when you ask your lover to choke you and they look at you like you've grown a second head, and so you backpedal by saying you were only kidding, and they should totally see the look on their face right now. But deep down, you both know, that energy's never leaving the room no matter how much you laugh it off. Lily, this is getting weird. Yeah, I know, I'm only kidding. You should totally see your face right now. See your face right.
Are you sure that you're living in an emotionally safe relationship? Because that sounds really fucking abusive. If your partner is kink-shaming you, it's not good. It's not healthy. It's fine to have your kinks as long as it's safe, sane, and consensual. And not being able to be open about your kinks and having to throw it away as a joke, it does feel like you're not having a very emotionally healthy relationship, just saying. So yeah, Lily put Kingdom Hearts as her second favorite anime of all time. And I'm going to say, I'm not as angry about it as you probably think I should be. Partially because I agree with the video that Mother Basement said that anime is not a medium, it's not the place where animation comes from, Japan. It's not all animation from Japan Anime is more of an art movement. It is an artistic style with artistic writing choices that are specific to anime. That's how you can say that, for example, Avatar is an anime in spite of being made in the United States. So I do agree with that extent. I do agree that Kingdom Hearts is very anime. And yeah, sure, she can put it on her list. And partially because, as I said, I do fully believe that this video is intended as bait, that she knows that her audience that actually watches anime is getting really upset about her opinion, so she decided, I'm going to milk some engagement. I'm not going to judge that, I'm doing the same thing. But I am going to say this. While I am not getting angry for the reasons that she stated, and I do not believe that putting Kingdom Hearts is a bad thing in and of itself, I do believe that there are some implications that I don't think that Lily has thought about. First of all, is that, I don't know if you noticed, but this list has 11 anime. And I think that she didn't want it to be a top 10, because she wanted to say, this is every single anime that I watched, and if it's a 10, people will think that it's a top 10, and think it's too small of a number, so I'm going to put Kingdom Hearts there, to put it as 11. And I think that not only does it show that she hasn't watched a lot of anime, she has not watched more than 10 anime, and she should not be making a video about a medium from another country that she has never visited before and can speak the language. But it also shows that she doesn't play a lot of video games either. Because you're going to say that Kingdom Hearts is anime, but there are many other anime video games out there. There's Persona, there's that Pokemon with cute girls that Donkey talked about. Why won't you argue that Legend of Zelda is anime? So not only does she not know enough about anime, but she also doesn't know a lot about games. So I don't know if she talks a lot about games, because I didn't watch her videos on Sylvanas and Kingdom Hearts and Mass Effect, because I don't care, I haven't played those. But just keep that in mind. She's not as knowledgeable in media consumption as you might probably think. I mean, I already knew that because of the whole, she used her Star Wars fanfiction to talk about morality. But this is definite proof, and she can't hide from that anymore.
Of course I was going to put Hamtaro at number 1. It's still the best cartoon to come out of the East.
You know, having rewatched the Spy Family video, I am more confused by this. Because she did say in the Spy X Family video that it was better than Hamtaro, and now she's saying that Hamtaro is better, so yeah, that was kind of a continuity error there, Lily.
Well, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all had a wonderful time, and if you're upset that I didn't include Busboy Sock Hop, or whatever it was you were about to get angry about, then that's okay. You can go, and I'll just be right over here, being better than you.
Yeah, it's bait. Video's bait, and it's over. Finally. Fucking finally. So what have we learned? Well, you can't just shut up about things. You don't need to have an opinion on anything. I'm not talking about, say, Donkey talking about JRPGs, people being like, oh, you shouldn't be talking about a genre of video games that you don't like. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that Lily does not like anime, does not have interest in enjoying anime, does not try to watch anime, and she decided to make a video about it anyway. Donkey at least plays the fucking video games that he talks about. She doesn't. She watched 10 anime in her life, and she's like, well, time to make a video about that. If Lily wants to watch more anime and talk about it, then she could be doing that. That would be fine. I wouldn't have a problem with that, but she clearly doesn't, but she's doing that anyway. And to say my opinion on Lily right now, I think that she's going through a branding crisis. And I know that word because there was a website with free classes that I took, and I did classes and a bunch of stupid shit. I watched a video on mosaic making, that was pretty nice. And some of the classes that I have watched were about branding and storytelling, which basically means that if you have a brand, you have an internet persona, then it makes sense for you to see what your brand is and also your form of storytelling. What kind of story are you trying to tell with your brand and your persona? Which is, I am a Brazilian content maker that just wants to share what makes me happy, that have a lot of opinions on things, but instead of trying to be overtly negative and tells you what to like and what to dislike, I decided to try to approach media analysis as being something kind of freeing, as diving deep into a work that you like and trying to figure out what the author is trying to say as some kind of adventure. And even if you keep diving deep and not liking what you find, it's okay, because there is other stuff out there that will do the stuff that you like and that will respect your tastes and your opinions as a thinking person, and that will hopefully achieve success by telling people that it's okay to think about stuff that they like and just be excited about what it brings to them, and just opening their eyes to the many aspects that can influence the story. That's my storytelling. And when you think about Lily's brand, about what Lily used to do when I used to watch her, is that Lily was a person that respected cartoons. Not necessarily liked everything that they had to offer, but respected them as a medium. First of all, Lily respected the audience of cartoons, that was of children. And she respected children's abilities to think and to analyze media and to learn by it. And so she was very critical of cartoons because she knew that children were smart people that deserved better. And so her criticism and her tone of absolutism, it felt right, because she was holding cartoons to a very high set of standards that arguably they wanted to be held. Because I've seen many people, for example, talking about Steven Universe, talking about how representative it is, how it made many things, but then when someone criticizes, they say she's just a cartoon. Steven Universe is just a cartoon, it shouldn't be that harsh, and I do not share their opinion. I agree with Lily, because cartoons should be held to a higher standard. They are works of art that are made by people that want respect. So we should be holding them to a higher standard and actually paying attention to what they were trying to say. This was her brand, and this is what I liked on her content. But as I went on, I think that she ended up noticing that time is a non-renewable resource, and she doesn't want to spend the rest of her life watching shit that she doesn't like, and she's just watching to make a negative video. She wants to spend her time watching stuff that she likes, talking about things that she likes. She got married, she wants to spend time with her wife. The problem is that her branding has never evolved. She doesn't want to be angry, she doesn't want to be upset, she doesn't want to be ranting about cartoons all day. The problem is that she still presents herself as a very confrontational person. As shown in her previous video, she could have put cartoons that I like and cartoons that other people like, but instead she put cartoons that other people like and cartoons that are good. She's still very abrasive, very authoritative, and very certain about what she's saying, even if she doesn't care about the subject at all. And at this point, it's probably to generate bait and to generate views. I have no idea how her metrics are doing. But speaking as someone that liked her content and doesn't like anymore, I think that there are people that are probably on the same boat as me. And I think that this happens because she changed as a person and it doesn't change her branding. I'm not saying that you should be following my advice, because I didn't study marketing, and also my channel has less than 500 subscribers. But I do feel that this disconnection between her branding and her content should be fixed. She should either present herself as a person that is more open to things, less absolute in her opinions, and just say her opinions, because this video that she made was only her opinions. There was no certainty on it. There was no wrong that she was fixing. She should either do that, or she should actually bite the bullet and start consuming content that she disagrees with on a practical level again, so she can actually have something to be angry against, to be confrontational about, and not just opinions that she has. The only reason I can think of that why she doesn't do that is because she doesn't want to, but the problem is that it's her brand and also her job. So that's my opinions on Lily. If you follow her on Twitter or on Tumblr and you have something to add to this theory of mine, please feel free to do so. I welcome feedback to my ideas. And since you're here and this is a Lily video, which means it's going to be one of the high-ranking one of my channels, why don't you go ahead and follow me on Twitter? I've been getting more active there because of many things that have been happening on Twitter, and I have some opinions on that. You can follow me there. And please go check my other videos if you want to help my dream come true of being paid to talk stuff online. So I appreciate every single help, and thank you very much. Have a nice day.